Hi, my name is Bree, and I think the last time I posted, I was on day 6 maybe, and my power was out, so it's been a fun few days since then. A lot of things have happened, which has caused me not to post for a while. I did end up leaving Japan and going back to home to visit family and be with family. I lost my brother-in-law, and so I'm filming at my other brother-in-law's house. And I decided to continue with the cookie challenge because Matt, my brother-in-law that we lost, he would have wanted me to continue. He loved filming, and he absolutely wouldn't have wanted me to stop. He would have just wanted us to keep going. So that's what I'm doing. And my brother-in-law's, I'm purposely trying to avoid names, so I'm trying not to be confusing, but my in-law's house that I'm staying with, he doesn't bake. He does cook, but he doesn't bake. So I had to go to the store and buy a lot of baking stuff for cookies. Because if you cook and you don't bake, you don't have like flour and all the stuff you need to bake. So that's what I did. And I have a lot of baking ingredients. I just want to show you what I got, because it's kind of fun to start from scratch with baking, because some people don't have that. Some people don't have that in their lives where they're like, oh, what do I need everything to bake cookies? You need a lot of stuff. Now this is for a lot of recipes, so don't think you need all this stuff at one time. Normally what you do is buy a little bit of stuff and build it up over time. So what I did for the cookie challenge is I folded up all of my little houses, and they're nice and neat and organized so I can rebuild those. And then in the back of my bag, so I could fly, I have my recipe cards for my grandma so that I can make it. And this way we get to share all the recipes with my family, and everybody gets to try them. So that's fun as well. And maybe some of my nieces and nephews will feel like they want to join in and help me make these cookies as well. So it could be lots of fun. Anyway, I managed to get everything at the store today except for one thing I needed, which is molasses. It's holiday baking season, so that is normally difficult to find in the holidays. They were sold out at this one store I went to, and no, I didn't go to multiple stores to find it. I might go check another store. If I can't find it there, then I'm just going to make a different cookie instead. But I got my fingers crossed for that. All right. I'm going to just show you this and show you what I got. That way you can see all of our mess together. Also, I gotta find a place. Oh no, it's not working. Okay, I gotta find a place in his house to put all this too. He's now going to have a baking cabinet, whether he likes it or not. So, I got Rice Krispies. Not name brand, but it works the same for Rice Krispie treats. Because we're way past some of those dates, I don't even care about the surprise anymore. Chex Mix. Rice Chex, I should say. I got Frosted Flakes, so there's 3 kinds of cereal. I tried to add up all the quantities I would need so I didn't like overbuy stuff. We've got some sugar. This is a 4-pound bag of sugar. I would normally buy it way bigger, but like I said, I didn't want to overbuy. And then I've got a 5-pound bag of flour, just all-purpose flour. I got some storage containers, Ziploc bags for cookies, because I'm not gonna wash dishes here. Well, I am, but not to store it. Some raisins, some pecans. All those recipes that says, add a cup of nuts. My nuts are pecans, since they don't say it. And somehow, I don't know if you can see it, somehow I already have flour all over my arm. Ask me how I did that when it's closed. I don't know. Some pretzels. I got brown sugar. This is how you make your cookies nice and soft. Powdered sugar. Chocolate chips. White chocolate chips. Peanut butter chocolate chips. Coconut flakes. This is the sweetened kind. Hershey's chocolate chips. I got all-purpose baking mix. I got some quick oats. Quick oats are important. If you get like the long cook oats or rolled oats, it's not gonna cook. It's gonna be hard and crunchy. Some applesauce. I won't use all of this applesauce, but my family will eat it, so we'll be fine. And then the fun ingredients, baking soda. The fun ingredients, baking soda, baking powder. I don't get name brand unless I feel like it's very important. This I'm not using, but it's pumpkin pie spice. I'm going to take this home with me. Ground ginger. I just need to remember to take that one home with me. Vanilla. Some corn syrup. Wow. Some peanut butter. Salt. Cinnamon. Real butter. I'm so excited for that. I don't have to cook with margarine. I actually got a dozen eggs instead of 10 eggs. So that's fun. Cocoa powder. Some M&Ms. Some shortening. And some marshmallows for those Rice Krispie treats. All right, so I'm gonna put all this away and then build these houses again. And then I guess we're gonna start cooking. Oh, I have box 11. I don't even know what day it is at this point. It is not the 11th day or the 10th day, but we're doing it. It is before Christmas, I can confirm that. So we're gonna make a lot of recipes today, as many as I can. But I will release them in separate videos just to continue, I think, the fun of an advent calendar. Oh well. So box 11 is potato chip cookies. So we got the recipe here. And the recipe says 1 cup of butter, a 1/2 cup of crushed potato chips, 2 cups of flour, a 1/2 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and a 1/2 cup of nuts. And in brackets it says pecans, so at least I know what kind of nuts it is. Oh, great. I don't have like any normal baking utensils like I normally do at my house. Kind of fun that I waited for months to get them, only to leave my house and come back to learning a new kitchen. But we're gonna make it work. You can make cookie recipes work no matter the size of your kitchen or your oven. Well, you actually have to have an oven, but you can make it work no matter what you're doing. If you have to make 3 cookies at a time, you can make it work, okay? So I don't wanna like discourage you saying you need like a fancy mixer when you don't. You can absolutely make it work without it. Today, I'm going to have a spoon and a bowl to mix things. It's gonna be a little more effort on my part, but we're going to do it. Okay, so it says 1 cup of butter. know that it's going to be softened because you have to cream the butter in the recipe, but otherwise it doesn't say that you need it softened. But in any cookie recipe, if you're mixing it in, you're almost guaranteed that you're gonna need it softened, because you can't mix bricks of butter into anything if it's cold. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and soften this up in the microwave, because you know I wouldn't have thought I had to do that. And plus, I'm fresh from the store. And I'll be right back with you. Alright, I'm back. That didn't take long at all. I always put the butter on a plate or a bowl, because if you can see, it melted out the side if you're microwaving it. Don't just stick it in there, because then you're gonna have a mess for later that you can't clean up. Well, you can, but it's not fun. Because there's a lot of times I just stuck the butter in there and regretted it. Just saying, you do whatever you want, but a plate always helps. Or leaving the butter out to come to room temperature also helps, but I don't know who actually does that, because those people are probably awesome at planning or remembering. Or maybe they don't have kids. Maybe that's it. Or they could also start making cookies, and then somebody interrupts them, and then 10 hours later they come back and the butter's softened. That could also work for them. Who knows what they do? I don't care what people do. This is just what I do. Okay, so now we got softened butter. It says cream butter first. Oh boy. Let me try to push this down. I saw my brother had a whisk, but it was a weird whisk where it's the kind that you normally mix protein powder in, like with a little ball in. I don't think that would be good for this situation. And like, it's like a powder type whisk. If you have one of those, you probably don't want to use it for this situation. You would need something very firm to mix stuff in. And I always think about things like what do I actually want to wash? Because that's also important. Okay, so sugar. A half a cup of sugar. So you may have seen these before. I know I have. I thought about buying them, but I didn't. These are wet and dry measures. And the reason why I didn't buy these is because while they're handy and they're useful doing one things, do you see right here where 1 cup is? It's in the container. So how are you supposed to level that off if you're using dry ingredients? Like, I guess you're gonna have to use a spoon to reach in there and level it off. That's going to be quite interesting. But I think this is a cool idea. I just don't think it's very practical for my life. Maybe you guys find it useful. I don't know. Plus, there's all these little crevices in here that may make it difficult to wash. I'm just predicting that. I've never used one of these before, so I'm going to give it a try. So we're going to go back to half a cup of sugar, because I already forgotten. And I don't have containers for sugar, so I put the sugar in the plastic bag it came in and left it in a bag, because apparently I'm just worried that sugar will fall out, and I don't want sugar all over my brother's house. That would not be very nice. Alright, so we got a half a cup going in. Okay, so this isn't gonna fit in the bag. Can I make it fit maybe? I know what you're thinking. Why don't you just pour it? Well, if I pour it, I will spill the bag. Most people could probably pour it just fine. Not my case. Okay, so kind of like trying to shake this to make it even. I guess that's a way to doing it. I guess I get to test this out and see if I like it. All right, we got a half cup. That didn't take me that long. Okay. Also, very little sugar in this recipe for a cookie recipe. All right, now we're gonna cream this. Oh, it says add sugar and vanilla. All right, so we need 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Let's see if he actually has teaspoons. Hey, I mean, look, he actually does. I mean, I could just pour it. That's what I normally do. But since I found this, I figured, why not? Wash another dish. 1 teaspoon. Plus, this recipe is a little weird to me, so I'm not sure about the liquid ratios. I don't want to overdo any liquids and accidentally put too much in there. Maybe if I make it again, I'll play around with it, but not today. And the reason why this is weird to me is because there is no eggs in this recipe. And I'm thinking, did she leave it out? Did she forget it? So I reread the whole recipe a few times, and she didn't leave it out. If she would have left it out in the top part, she would have talked about it in the ingredients. So that's on purpose. There's no egg in this recipe. And if you guys have made potato chip cookies before, maybe you know that. Not me. I had never heard of potato chip cookies before. So, new one on me. And I told my brother-in-law I was making potato chip cookies. And he's like, that sounds so weird. So, let's actually see if they like it or actually will eat it. Okay, so now we're going to need, we need to add the potato chips and pecans. We need a half cup of crushed potato chips. Doesn't say what kind of potato chips. I'm going to assume plain. So I'm going to get a bowl. Okay, I don't want to do that. So I'm thinking that this will work. What I'm doing is 2 bowls together and crushing it. I don't think he has a rolling pin. And I could crush them with my hands, but that would hurt my hands a little bit. I recently learned I have carpal tunnel, so I'm trying to go easier on my hands. So that's why I'm not manually crushing with myself. But I'm just making this process up and hoping for the best. I think that everybody probably would have 2 bowls though. Okay. It is working, I just gotta mix it up a little bit. It's actually working really good. I also don't know how fine to crush these chips. I mean, like in my mind, this is crushed chips. But also, if I were to fruit process it, it would be real fine. But do we want it like chunky so we could still see the chips? I'm gonna go with that option. So, a half a cup. Of course, I'm gonna need more chips. I just went with a chip I would like to eat. I'm not going to put something in my food that I don't like. Although these taste really different over here. In Japan, I guess that's expected, but... Ooh, I used to love these chips. It's like really oily. I don't know what's... This is like the first chip I had since I've returned to the States, so... They used to be my favorite, but it's probably going to take me forever to get used to all the oil in the food. Hopefully this gets me to that half a cup mark I need. All right, half a cup. Going in. Against my better judgment. Watch these turn out to be like the best cookies in the world. Or the worst, who knows. All right, so, and pecans. A half a cup of pecans. This is where I'm debating it. Like, if I put the pecans in there, I would like pecans. But the kids won't eat pecans. They know there's nuts in there. They're not going to eat them. Trying to decide whether I'm just going to leave them out. But I'm making other cookies. So if I was just making these today, I would probably leave them out. I'm going to just put them in there. And hope other people like pecans. Okay, well, I forgot I had to chop these. Well, I can see if I can crush them. Let's see if I can chop these like this. Probably not going to work. No surprise there, didn't work. Okay. I did get chopped pecans trying to make my life easier, but it also just says, it doesn't say whether they're chopped, crushed, or what, but when you're making cookies, you don't want to put whole nuts in there. And these pecans are supposed to be chopped, but they really look like they're halved. Well, some of them are chopped, but not all. Like, I wish, like, if the nuts say they're chopped, they would at least be chopped evenly. I mean, make my life easier and try to chop them evenly and not leave halves in there, or big chunks and little chunks. I mean, I'm at the point where I'm like, just give me the whole nut because I have to do the work anyway. Okay, let's see if I'm in a half cup. Probably not. Betty, my grandma would have loved these cookies. That's probably why she saved the recipe, because it had pecans in it. I don't know if she ever made it or if she made it not a lot or not. A lot of times with these typed up recipes, she would have her son, Rick, he also passed away during COVID. Sorry, I just went on a side note. It's always hard to talk about people that passed away. She would have her son, Rick, type up the recipe. And that's how we got the typed up version. So that was always nice of him to do. He was always willing to help out her. And he actually moved in with her at the farm to help with the farm. He and his wife moved in and supported them in anything they need. Okay, so I got about a half a cup. That's all I'm willing to do anyway. It's just shy of a half cup, but I'm fine with that. Okay, I'm also getting so much crap in here. Here we go. Okay, so we got a half cup of nuts going in and pecans. I already threw the chips in. Pecans. I mean, it is looking very pretty. I'm just wondering if any of my brother and sisters or sister-in-laws are going to eat this. If I was in Japan, I would know they would eat it because they love pecans. But here, I'm not so sure they love pecans. I know my brother, he loves pecans, so he might eat these cookies. I always try to think of who would love the cookies so I can be like, hey, these cookies would be good for you. Would you like to eat them or take them? Because I do not want to waste things. All right, so then the next part is we need to stir in flour. And this is not that many ingredients. So that's good. We're going to need 2 cups of flour. And as I'm opening the bag, we get flour all over myself. Just because it's dust. It's not like anything I could have done with that one. Can I get this out of the bag? And like, I went through all the recipes and counted up how much of each item I would need. So this is the part I hate, because when you're measuring the flour, you're not really supposed to like compact it. And as I spoon it in here, the only way I can do this is if I like fluff it over. All right, well, we're gonna have a little compacting happening. And the reason why I'm concerned about that is if you compact the flour, you end up with more flour than you need. It should be a light and fluffy scoop, unless otherwise directed. If I had a scale, I would just weigh this out, but I don't. All right, so hopefully 2 cups of flour going in. Oh, there's a fun note at the bottom of this. It says, I double my recipe to make 6 dozen cookies, I think. I also use a little more flour than what the recipe calls for. Well, so did I, because I shoved it in the container. Okay, so currently in this step with spooning it, it's in like chunks. So you just gotta keep stirring. Don't freak out if you see that. You might think it's too dry. It will work out. I've seen cookie doughs like this where you're like, this looks too dry as I'm stirring. Just keep working it in. It will combine. Don't you dare add something to fix it right now. Just as a warning, if you never made cookies before, don't try to fix something until you're absolutely sure it isn't going to work. And with like another minute of stirring, all of this is coated with liquid. I'm going to smooth this over. And I'm going to show you. Like, it looks really dry right now just by moving it around. But what would happen is when you actually combine it, it sticks together. So do not try to fix it if it looks dry. That's what it's supposed to do. I know what the only reason why I'm pointing this out is because when I first started making cookies, I worried about things like that. When it looked dry, I would try to immediately fix it. I'm just telling you, don't do that. That's a big mistake you could have. Now, at the end of it is, if it didn't come together like planned, you could try adding just the smallest amount of water, like a tablespoon of water or a teaspoon of water. But that's only if it doesn't come together as planned. Like if you maybe accidentally put too much flour in it, do not put a lot of liquids in at once. Only do it baby amounts at a time. I just switched to do it with my hand. If you had a KitchenAid mixer, this would have came together in like maybe 30 seconds, I'm guessing. Because even just mixing this with my hand, it wasn't that big of a deal. I thought it was gonna be like time consuming, but it's came together really quickly. And all I'm doing is like kneading it like bread with my hands. So I'll show you. I'm just like pushing it down and then rolling it to get it to form together. So I didn't need to add any liquid despite how dry it is. It's very moist right now. And somehow I got it on my shirt. So I'm gonna have to clean that up later. Okay, so we got a nice cookie ball. There is no need to chill this. We do need to preheat the oven. My oven takes 30 minutes to preheat. Sometimes four hours, I feel like. So I'm hoping that my brother-in-law, he's got a fancy oven. It doesn't take that long. So let's go ahead and preheat his oven to 350. It's already at 100 degrees and I just turned it on. It's even got a thermostat in it. It's even got a thermostat in it. I'm so jealous. Okay. Okay, so now what we're going to do is form into small balls. Place on an ungreased cookie sheet. Press flat with glass dipped in sugar. Bake at 350 degrees for 16 to 18 minutes. For 16 to 18 minutes, that's quite a long bake for a cookie. I normally don't bake it that long. But anyway, I have this extra bowl. Let's go ahead and put some sugar in it. And I guess we need a glass. I just remembered that was a gas oven and I needed to make sure it actually lit down there. So I did that. I found the glass that works. Clean that up. I need to wipe up all the flour because I don't want that to stick on the pans. All right. So as mentioned before, my brother does not bake, but he does cook some things. Okay, so what I did was put parchment paper in here to make sure this cookie doesn't stick. It says ungreased cookie sheet, but I always just do parchment paper with my cookies because that way I know it doesn't stick and it doesn't make a mess. You do what you want, just telling you what I did. So it says small balls. I don't know what was small considered to her. So we're going with this size. Maybe I should be like halving it. I just realized I had like a small cup. So halving it should work for the size of the cup I have. maybe I could do this better to explain. So something that would expand to the bottom of the cup. So I'm going with the size of a cookie. And I'm gonna go put this in sugar and smash this in. We'll take you in to see what the cookie looks like. So that's the cookie. So I'm gonna keep doing this with the rest of the cookie. I don't have my little test tray that I made myself where I have 4 cookies, so I'm gonna give these plenty of space. I'm assuming they're more like a shortbread cookie and they don't spread, but I don't want to, I'm gonna be overly cautious with this one. So I think I'm gonna roll out all the balls and then smash them and then bake this and see how it does. For such a long bake, it must be shortbread-like. It must be crunchy, because that's the only way I can think that it would work. If it was a shorter bake, it would be a softer cookie. I'm just guessing here, because normally what I've seen is the longer the bake, the harder the cookie. That's normally how this works. So I'm thinking these are going to be shortbread-like. And if that's the case, I don't know who likes really shortbread cookies. I'm really kind of sad right now because I do know who likes shortbread cookies. It's my brother that died. But as to who else would like shortbread cookies, I don't know. I think my brother would like it. It's my brother-in-law that died, but I will just often refer to my in-laws as my brother and sister as well. Okay, we'll also see a lot of guests in here as the funeral arrangement has been arranged, so it could be anybody would like these kinds of cookies. So I got 6 in this pan. It feels like it's so small, such a large pan, but a lot of stuff is wasted on the side, so I didn't get to fit a lot of cookies here. All right, I'll be back with you after I bake these for 18 to 20 minutes, no, 16 to 18 minutes, and I'll show you what they look like. What I did was I pulled these out of the oven and I immediately put these on a sheet rack because you need to cool them. I'm not sure if that was in the recipe or not, but you don't want to leave these to continue to cook. Here's an example why I left one on one of them, because I wasn't paying attention and they continued to cook and they got really brown. I knew that would happen. That was actually like the second batch. I just wasn't paying attention to that one. But here's what you're really looking for. So pull them out of the oven, and as soon as you get them out, put them on a rack to cool. And they did turn out like a shortbread cookie. I'm gonna break it in half for you. Here, you can have a bite. And if only, right? You can see the nuts in there. You can kind of see the chips in there too. So I'm gonna give it a try. Haven't tried it yet. It is delicious. It tastes exactly like the shortbread cookie, like I thought it would. I mean, I didn't think it would taste like it because, I'll turn around, because it has chips in it, but it tastes beautiful. You can taste those pecans in there, so that means none of the kids are gonna eat it, but if you have kids that like pecans, they will eat it. Otherwise, I can't really taste the potato chips. And the only reason why I can know there's potato chips in there is because I can kind of see them a little bit. But they're very delicious if you like shortbread cookies. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.